All right, thank you so much for staying with us. We're wrapping up right now from the Benin Network Center. Fuel subsidy and the unanswered questions is the side we'll be taking it from this side. And of course, we have with us Comrade Bashir Kadiri. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning, Praise.
Good morning, glad to have you.
My pleasure.
All right, let's just quickly go straight. Yes. The fuel subsidy removal has been an issue that is biting on every Nigerians. Do you think the presidency will be shifting ground as they will be having a meeting with trade unions today?
Well, from the feelers we are getting, let me first start by saying that the issue of subsidy is an historical problem. It has been part of our nightmare as Nigerians. Every now and then we hear subsidy will be removed, will be removed. People will not sleep well, and the next thing is, okay, there's now subsidy. But I think this idea of epileptic feelings, people will sleep and wake up and be afraid that, I think let us settle that matter once and for all.
Okay.
Now, all the controversies that are surrounding the subsidy issues, they should be handled. I think what Labour is simply telling government is that you cannot decide before we come to a meeting. If you say we are stakeholders, critical stakeholders in the system, you're supposed to allow us to have a meeting before you take decisions. However, where we are now is that I understand from the feelers that government is prepared to talk, prepared to dialogue, want to find a common base for everybody to relate on. Because whether you like it or not, even the man in government, his brother or his cousins or his nieces also suffer the fate. He cannot assume by way of imagination that it doesn't bother him. He cannot. And that, of course, becomes very critical. So whether you like it or not, everybody must sit up together. So the government have said we are prepared to talk to Labour.
Okay. Look at the economy generally now. Everything is on the increase, from transportation to foodstuff. Everything is just increasing. Do you think, as Nigerians, we can adapt to the new changes in case the subsidy has come to stay, the subsidy removal?
But I will tell you this for free, that you cannot rule on an unstable society. Every government intention is to create a stable society where they can rule. Governance is about peace. It's not about crisis. And I'm not so sure the president wanted to create crisis. I'm sure he was trying to say, let me be realistic. But I think, like I said, his approach was wrong. We were supposed to have allowed Labour to meet with him, discuss with him, and then they find a common ground and see what they can do. You win some, you lose some. You can't win all the time. As a democratic system, everybody is part of the system. So you cannot say, this is what I want to do, I must do it. You must think of the people's opinion on what you are doing. So what Labour is simply saying now is that, look, government, let's talk. Now government said, okay, we can now talk, which of course is fine. Because dialogue is first, dialogue is second, and dialogue is last. Absolutely. It's not the end of this exercise. There are other issues that may arise again like this. So the controversy of fuel subsidy, I'm thinking that for once, let us put to rest to it. One of them is that let us investigate who are actually behind subsidy. Okay. What exactly did they mean? What was exactly the returns? Were they meeting the target? Who were involved in all of this scandal? If it's a scandal that is a rip on the society, trillions have gone down. So it is important that let us now for once know who are behind this. Let's have an idea of what is the causation. How did we arrive at what we arrive at? Who are those involved in all of this drama? Is it real or it is fake?
So you're saying subsidy is a scam? It doesn't exist?
Now, I wouldn't say so because I'm not a member of the industry. But what I can tell you for free is that what we have heard over the time, if it's a lie, it's those that told us that it's a lie, that are liars, not us. That the subsidy issue, part of the money is going down the drain. And people just sit down as scammers and they say they are oil marketers, whoever they are, and they decide to sit down and say, okay, this is a channel where I make money without giving Nigerians the benefit of their investment. It is not fair. You cannot be rich in a society where people are poor. You are not safe. I want to let them understand that no matter how rich you are, society is poor. You are at risk. You can't even live well.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous because you are creating criminals around yourself. Why not let us, you're already making enough money as an oil marketer. Why do you want to now scandalize the system by way of defrauding the country? The stories we are hearing, they are not sweet stories at all. So for me, my advice to these people who are involved, I learned that there are 140 people. 140 people. Very a small number compared to Nigerian population. And I sit back and see it as part of their market. How can you make fraud your market and want to survive for a long time? Okay. Those who commit crime do not even know that before they leave where they are standing, that crime will come back to them. Those they committed the crime with, we either implicate them or they praise them. Whatever way, we'll get to know who is the criminal. So for me, If whatever element of that particular, what they call it, subsidy is scandal, let Nigeria investigate it. Let us come out with the facts. So that Nigeria will say, well, for sure, I think we have found finally the result. And then deploy the fund from that matter to the people and not to the few individuals. Because you cannot be solving one problem and creating another problem. You cannot be stopping one criminal and giving another criminal another opportunity to make money. So this is the truth. Because Nigerians cannot understand, I cannot understand, quite frankly, that we have crude oil in our society. We cannot create a refinery. For how many years now? We have 4 refineries, none of them were working. How do you explain that to yourself? Is it even you as a person, can you understand?
But we have individuals.
And you have individuals who have oil wells. And they have oil wells, oil blocks. And for over 30 years, they could not develop a refinery from the money they made from the oil well.
Okay, quickly, I would like you to react to this. Some persons are saying they should give the president time. They should just give him time. He just got into office and things will get in place. Do you agree with that? As we begin to
for me, naturally, there's no way you can just say, sit down today and get today. No. There must be, it's a time space. I'm sure when Labour meets with him, they will be discussing with him on all of these elements. Like I said, the approach was wrong. You were supposed to discuss with Labour, sit down with them and say, okay, gentlemen, look at what my problem is. What do we do about it? Labour is better to give you results and give you advice on what we should go and give you the different issues that we can address to ameliorate the problems that are arising from this issue. I mean, but you just sat back and say, okay, stop and stop. You know, a society where we live like this, you don't say people should stop. You should ask their opinion before you say, let us stop. We agree that we must stop because there are issues Labour are presenting to them. There are issues of salary. There are issues of other issues that are necessary to be done. If they are done, and Labour is also saying, please, let's investigate who are behind this whole thing and what was the quantum of fund that involved in this matter. Okay.
I'm afraid we may not be able to stretch this further, but we'll be having this conversation on Impact today on Independent Radio by 3:15. All right, so we'd like to extend or expand this front line of the discussion. This is what we'll be drawing the curtain for TMI Monday morning edition. Thank you so much for finding time to join us.
Thank you.
On behalf of the entire crew member, do have yourself a lovely day. I am Daniel Praise Osedibame.